Today we are going to see about the Circle of Willis, blood supply to the brain. So I have separated here the right and the left part. See, I have separated the right and the left part. So this is right cerebrum and this is right cerebellar. Here I will be showing the inferior view of the arteries which is supplying to the brain. So here I have drawn the blood supply only, and here I have drawn in a complex manner. You can think it little bit. So I will explain you in this, and then for like quick revision this I will be using. So guys, this is a whole in simpler way I am telling, so that you can easily understand. So the arteries is passing, the artery name is vertebral artery. So through the hole, that is transfer foramen magnum, through that the branch is separated. See, the branch is separated, which is PICA. So PICA is posterior inferior cerebellar arteries. So here also posterior inferior cerebellar artery. And then there is a small arc, see this small arc, which is known as posterior spinal arteries. Now then further it is moving up, and then it has been fused. So that is called as anterior spinal arteries. And further then the branches, the arteries has passed, and then it has been given branch, and that is named as anterior inferior cerebellar arteries. So till now the blood supply which has been talked by me is about cerebellar part. So first is posterior inferior cerebellar artery, then there is posterior spinal artery. After that the fusion part was the anterior spinal artery, as it was fused together in the spinal cord arteries. Now it has given branch, see here the branches, which is anterior inferior cerebellar arteries. Hope you have cleared this much. So now I will, for the revision part, I will see, this is the foramen magnum. This was the foramen magnum, transfer foramen magnum. Here the vertebral VA, that is vertebral arteries. And this one was the PICA, and this one was posterior spinal artery. Now it has further fused, and this part was in anterior spinal artery, and now the branches was given was anterior inferior cerebellar arteries. Hope you have cleared till this. And now we will talk about cerebellum. So guys, this is a basilar arteries. So this basilar arteries has been given a branch to a cerebellar part. Now it also has given a branch, this little guy, which is, it is a big vessel, okay, it is not a little guy, it is labyrinthine arteries. So this is present in the pons, and the tree part is given as a pontine branches. Guys, this vertebral arteries has came and given to the given branch to the cerebellar, which is posterior inferior cerebellar arteries, and then fused, and it has posterior spinal arteries which will give supply to the spine. And as I have talked, this is a big vessel which is known as basilar arteries. Hope you are clear till this. This is a labyrinthine arteries. This three is a pontine branches. And now this big part, big supply, which is big branch is known as superior cerebellar arteries. So this pontine branch is supplying to the pons, and this one is cerebellar. This is a superior cerebellar arteries. So guys, now this big one which is above the superior cerebral artery is known as posterior cerebral artery. So I have marked here this is the posterior cerebral artery. Now this vessel, this branch is going to feed further to the circle of Willis. So now this part is posterior communicating arteries. So what it is? Posterior communicating arteries. Now coming to this, see. So now I am going to explain over here. So this was the which is supplying to the cerebella, which is anterior inferior cerebellar arteries. Now this part, this vessel was a basilar arteries. Okay, so this basilar vessel is such a big which is further branched into labyrinthine arteries, and this is pontine branch which is supplying to the pons. Okay, now above that the vertebral arteries has been branched, that is basilar arteries has been given branch to such a big, that is superior cerebellar arteries. What? Superior cerebellar arteries. And now coming above that superior cerebellar arteries, the blood is feeding to the till ear to ear is a posterior cerebellar arteries. So hope you have clear till ear to ear. Now we will going to the part of circle of Willis. This guy here, which is a small part, is called as internal carotid arteries. So your right and the left is known as internal carotid arteries. Now coming to this small part, which is ophthalmic arteries, guys. Now this branch, see, this branch is given a small tiny blood supply, which is known as lenticular straight arteries. Lenticular straight arteries. Now guys, here also the after branches above which is ophthalmic arteries, and it has also given branch to the small one which is called anterior choroidal arteries. What? Anterior choroidal arteries. And this small is known as middle cerebellar arteries. This is middle cerebellar arteries. And then it has given a blood supply to, means it has feeded to anterior communicating arteries. We have also seen the posterior communicating arteries. Where is that? This is the posterior communicating arteries, and this one is the anterior communicating arteries. Now this small one which is poking upward is anterior cerebellar arteries. So hope the circle of Willis is clear. So we will give a quick revision. So guys, this was the posterior cerebellar arteries. Now coming to this, a small tiny of right and left which is known as internal carotid arteries. Coming to this part was posterior communicating artery, and this part was anterior communicating arteries. Now coming to this, which is a small butchus kind thing, which is ophthalmic arteries. And this, like this small, which is given small blood supplies, which is called as lenticular straight arteries. With what? Lenticular straight artery. Now coming to here, which is pending this small one, which is anterior choroidal artery. Anterior choroidal artery. And this small, which is given so much of blood supply, a small blood supply, is known as middle cerebellar artery. Hope you have cleared, guys, and we will see further videos like this. If you liked my way of teaching, hope subscribe my channel and do like my video. Thank you so much for listening the video.